Okay, so today we're going to do just dividing. So when we divide, we want to rewrite it as what? Multiplication. And then do what with the second fraction? Reciprocal. Would you like to know why it is that we take the reciprocal? Yes? Okay, so I'm going to do something on the side down here. So if we are taking 8 divided by 1/3, so this is 8 divided by 1/3, right? So to get this, to get rid of that fraction there, what I would need to do is I need to multiply by 3/1 and 3/1 on the top. That gets rid of that fraction. So then I get 8 times 3/1 or 24. So that's why. Simple. Because you're just dividing a fraction, so you have to get rid of that fraction by taking the reciprocal. Okay? Is 3 the reciprocal of 3/1 the reciprocal of 1/3? Yeah, so 3/1 I multiplied there, 3/1, and then I get 8 times 3/1 or 24/1. Okay, so that's just a side note. I was just showing you why when you divide, but you make it multiplication by the reciprocal. Okay, so now we want to see if we can cancel. Is there anything we can cancel here? There's a. We can cancel a 5, 1, 5, and 5. How many 5s and 10? 2. Anything else? So we've got m to the 3rd here and m to the 3rd. Anything else? Yes, just one of them or both of them? So this is n squared, and then we have n times n, which is equivalent to n squared. So we're canceling both on the bottom and the n squared on the top. Does that make sense? So then we get 2 times 2 is 4 over 3m. Especially when they're monomials like that, or monomial fractions, they're easy to miss something that you canceled. So that m, like for example, would be easy to miss when you go to write your answer. Okay, so now on number 2, there's nothing underneath that 6x squared. What's assumed to be underneath it? A 1, that's right. So this would be the same thing as 3x to the 3rd over 9 times. Take the reciprocal, 1 over 6x squared, and then can anything cancel? Frankie, does anything cancel there? Yeah, so either 3 and the 6 or 3 and the 9, whichever one you want, doesn't matter. So 1, 3, and 3, and 2, and 6. And then anything else? How many x's cancel? This is an x to the 3rd, so how many cancel? X squared. So x squared, and then this becomes x. So this would become x over 18. Okay, and then on number 3, is that okay? I'm not going too fast, am I? Okay, so we want to factor this numerator while we're rewriting it, just because it's a lot to write. So how does that numerator factor? We do our x, what multiplies 32, that adds to 12, and it would be 8 and 4. So r plus 8, r plus 4. over r plus 4. This is division. We make it multiplication, and we do what with the r minus 3? So, Omar, tell me what to write over here. Do we put the r minus 3 in the numerator or the denominator? No. Good. So taking the reciprocal there, is there anything that cancels? The r plus 4. And so we would get r plus 8 over r minus 3. So let me ask you a question, because I'm seeing a little bit of this today. Why can't we cancel out those r's there? So it has to be multiplication for us to cancel. Anytime we cancel, it's multiplication. So for example, if we have 24 over 12, we know that's 2. The reason it's 2 is because this is 12 times 2 over 12 times 1, and that's multiplication. So now I can cancel those 12s. This is 2. So I can't cancel those r's because this is addition and this is subtraction. Okay, on to the next one. Anybody still looking at this? Okay, pay attention to this. This one's going to be a little bit different, and it's just a little tricky. Okay, so in the numerator, how do we factor that numerator? On the first fraction. Good. 6v times. Good. Okay, and in the denominator, guys, in the denominator, how would the denominator factor? Any idea, David, how we factor that denominator? Is there a number that's in common in that denominator? So is there anything that goes into both 6 and 24? 6, that's right. Does v go into both of them? Yeah, so it's 6v. And then what goes on the inside of that parentheses? V minus 4. And so then now, while we're doing that, I'm going to change this to multiplication, and then I need to take the reciprocal here. So this 7 minus v, is that the same thing as negative v plus 7? This 7 minus v? Okay, I'm going to tell you why I'm doing that in a moment. Just hold on. So this v squared minus 7v, how does that factor? V times v minus 7. So right now, these two are not the same, are they? That negative v plus 7 is not the same thing as v minus 7. Is there something I can do with this to make it so it's the same as the v minus 7? Could I factor a number out of there? Yes, we can factor out a negative 1. So this would be negative 1 times positive v and then minus 7. Does that make sense? So this positive v this negative v becomes positive, and then the positive becomes negative. Why did I do that? So my goal is to cancel, right? Can I cancel now? Yes, so that's why I did that. Okay, so I just rewrote it as negative 1 times v minus 7. Questions on how I rewrote that? Because I know that's a little bit tricky at first. Once you get it, it's not a problem, but it's a little tricky. Okay, so now we can cancel out our, what can we cancel here? V minus 7. The negative 1 is still there. Anything else? 6v. So I'm left with v minus 6 over v times v minus 4. And then I have a negative in the numerator. So what I can do is I can either write it on the side or I can distribute it through that numerator there. we have this weird math thing where we don't put the negative in the denominator. We like that number that's or expression that's in the denominator not to have a negative in the front. And it's just this weird math thing. So it's one of these things where if you see a multiple choice test or something, they won't put that negative in the denominator. They'll always put it in the numerator. And same thing with this, my answer keys. They'll always have the negative either on the side or distributed in the numerator. Okay, so let's do another one. Number 5. How does 3x to the third minus 30x squared factor? Brady, do you know how we could factor out the 3x cubed minus 30x squared? Good. So 3x squared times. Good. And then I'm going to rewrite this 8 minus x, negative x plus 8, and then change it to times, and then take the reciprocal there. So as I'm taking the reciprocal, I'm going to factor. So the 7x minus 70, how does that factor? Take out a 7, so it's 7 times x minus 10. And then we want to take a 7 out of this one, move it up to the top, and it's 7 times what? X minus 8. Questions on that? Okay, so we want to cancel out that x minus 8. We can't right now, but if we change this, what can we change this to be able to cancel? Negative 1 times x minus 8. So see how those signs changed? It was negative x becomes positive, and the net positive 8 becomes negative. Questions on that? So what can we cancel now? The x minus 8? Anything else? X minus 10 and the 7. So now my answer, we have a 3x squared, and then I'm just going to make it negative. So we don't want to put a fraction there. We want to leave it as simple as possible, which would be to bring that negative up to the top. Okay, go ahead and do the U try. You do it already? Very nice. Yeah. Good. And it's really easy to forget that negative 1 that you factored out. Yeah, so you want to put it on the side. Pretty nails. Beautiful. Wow. Pretty. You know how to start? No. Okay. So, were you here yesterday? No. Okay. So when you have division, you change it to multiplication. No, the second one. So that second part is what you're dividing by. And then when you do that, just to make it less writing, factor that at the same time at n squared minus 4n plus 3. Yeah, do your x. How'd we do here? Doing number 6. Yep.
Flip it first. Can you flip either side?
No, just the one on the right. Yep. Correct. Yeah.
And then you factor.
You did. Just remember to put the negative in the front because you factored out a negative one. Yeah. Easy to do. Yep. 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 How'd we do? Great. Really easy to forget the negatives. So just put the negative in the front because you factor out a negative there to be able to cancel those. Okay. Does that make sense? Okay, this is what you should get for your answer. Questions on that? I'm going to do the last one. Can I get somebody to pass out the worksheet while I'm doing that? Just so you can get started quicker. Would you do me a favor? Would you pass these out? Thank you. Okay, last one. Brady, I'm just going to do one more problem. So we want to factor x minus 10 over, we can factor a 6 times x minus 10. This is division. This would be over 1, so it's times 1 over x minus 4. And then it's multiplication now over here. So this one's got two different things in it. And then we want to rewrite this. So this would be, how can we factor the x squared minus 16? X plus 4, x minus 4. Yep. And so then what can we cancel? X minus 10, x minus 4. And that's it. So we have x plus 4 over 6 times 3 or 18.